Morning, guys. I left you a little bit of a cliffhanger yesterday, I'm not going to lie. I do have my little word book here with me, words I love, and have some words in there. So I may add some more today, but I really just want to start reading so that you can find out if your prediction was right. So remember, Ivan made the H, and I said, what do you think that H is going to stand for? 4 letters. Some of the guesses that I've heard is hope, HOPE. I've heard hero, HERO. What else did I hear? I heard I can't remember. Home, HOME. There was one more I wanted to share and I forget it. Help, HELP. So all good guesses, right? Let's read it and see where we're at. I study the billboard. Then I make 2 fat lines like broom handles. Another fat line connects them. I stand back. What do you think? What is it? No, wait. Let me guess. A ladder. Not a ladder, I say. A letter. At least I think that's what they're called. I have to make 3 more. Bob cuddles up next to Knot Tag. Why? He asks, yawning. Because then I'll have a word. A very important word. I dip my fingers into the paint. What word? Bob asks. Home. HOME. Bob closes his eyes. That's not so important, he says quietly. I don't know, so were any of you right? Good guesses out there. Nervous. All day long, I knuckle walk circles around my cage. I am so nervous. I can't nap. I can't even eat. Well, not very much anyway. I'm ready to show Julia what I've made. It has to be Julia. She's an artist. Surely she'll truly look at my paintings. She won't notice the smudges and the tears. She won't care if the pieces don't quite fit together. She'll see past all of that. Surely Julia will see what I have imagined. I watch Ruby trudge sullenly. Ruby trudge. We talked about trudge yesterday. No, we talked about plodding yesterday. Badunk-kadunk, kind of walking along. Trudge is very similar to that. She's just walking slowly. I watched Ruby trudge sullenly, sadly, through the 4 o'clock show, and I wonder, what will happen if I fail? What if I can't make Julia understand? But of course I know the answer. Nothing will happen. Ruby will remain the main attraction at the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, conveniently located off I-95, with shows at 247, 365 days a year, after year, after year. Showing Julia. It's time to show my work. The mall is silent except for Thelma the macaw, who is practicing a new phrase. Uh-oh! Julia is finishing her homework. George is sweeping outside. Mac has gone for the night. I grab Knot Tag, carefully pull the papers out. So many paintings, page after page, piece after piece of my giant puzzle. I pound on the glass, and Julia glances my way. Fingers trembling, I hold up one of my paintings. It's brown and green, a corner piece. Julia smiles. I display another picture, and then another and another, each one a tiny part of the whole. Julia looks confused. But what is it? She asks. She shrugs. It doesn't matter. It's pretty just as it is. Uh-oh, says Thelma. No, I think. No, it does matter. Uh-oh. I'm worried. More paintings. George calls out to Julia. He's done for the night. Grab your backpack, he says, and hurry. It's late. Gotta go, Ivan, Julia says. Julia doesn't understand. Oh, she can't leave. I have to find the right pieces. I dig through the pile. They're here somewhere. I know they are. I find another one. Another. I hold 4 of them up against the glass. Bob, I say, help me, hurry. Bob grabs paintings with his teeth and he drags them to me. One by one, I shove the pictures through the window crack. They crumple and tear. There are too many pieces. My puzzle is too big. Careful, Ivan, Julia says. This might be worth millions someday. You never know. She arranges the paintings into a neat stack. I suppose Mac's going to want to sell these at the gift shop. Oh, no, she still doesn't understand. I shove more and more at the hole. all of them, one after another. So Ivan's been painting a lot, George says, as he puts on his coat. A lot, Julia says with a laugh. A whole lot. You're not taking all those home with you, George asks. I mean no offense to Ivan, but they're just blobs. Julia thumbs through the towering stack of paintings. They might not be blobs to Ivan. Let's leave them by the office, George suggests. Mac will want to sell them. Although, why anyone would pay $40 for a finger painting a 2-year-old could do, I don't know. I like Ivan's work, Julia says. He puts his feelings into them. He puts his hair into them, George says. Julia waves goodbye. Night, Ivan. Night, Bob. Oh, no. Oh, you guys. I press my nose against the glass and I watch her walk away. All my work, all my planning, wasted. I look at Ruby, sleeping soundly, and suddenly I know she'll never leave the Big Top Mall. She'll be here forever, just like Stella. I can't let Ruby be another one and only. Chest beating. Often, when visitors come to see me, they beat their hands against their puny chest, pretending to be me. They pound away, soundless as the wet wings of a new butterfly. The chest beating of a mad gorilla is not something you ever want to hear. Not even if you're wearing earplugs. Not even if you're 3 miles away wearing earplugs. A real chest beating sends the whole jungle running, as if the sky has broken open, as if men with guns are near. What do you think Ivan is going to do? He doesn't want Julia to leave. Think about that. Angry. Thump. Ooh. Thump. Thump. There is something called onomatopoeia. It means a word that actually sounds like the way it's read. Thump. When I say the word thump, you kind of hear it, right? It means it sounds like the way it's read. That's a word that I love. I want that in my book. Okay, I'm going to go back and just read this chapter because you don't want me interrupting with my silly adding words, which isn't silly, but you want to hear this chapter. Thump. The sound. My sound echoes through the mall. George and Julia spin around. Julia drops her backpack. George drops his keys. The pile of pictures go flying. Thump, thump, thump. I bounce off the walls. I screech and bellow. I beat and beat and beat my chest. Bob hides under knot tag, his paws over his ears. I'm angry. At last, I have someone to protect. Puzzle pieces. After a long while, I grow quiet. I sit. It's hard work being angry. Julia looks at me with wide, disbelieving eyes. I'm panting. I'm a little out of shape. What the heck was that? George demands. Something's really wrong, Julia says. I've never seen Ivan act this way. He seems to be calming down. Thank goodness, George says. Julia shakes her head. He's still upset, Dad. Dad. Look at his eyes. My pictures are scattered all over the floor like huge autumn leaves. What a mess, George says, sighing. Wish I hadn't bothered sweeping tonight. Do you think Ivan's okay, Julie asks. Probably just a little temper tantrum, George says. He reaches under his chair to retrieve the brown and red picture. Can't say I blame the guy stuck in that tiny cage all those years. So there's all of Ivan's paintings scattered across the floor. Julia starts to answer, but then she freezes. Finally, thank goodness. She cocks her head. She stares at her feet, where my pictures lie in disarray, messiness. Dad, she says, come see this. I'm sure he's another Rembrandt, George says. Let's pick those up and get going, Jules. I'm exhausted. Dad, she says again, seriously, look at this. George follows her gaze. I see blobs, many, many blobs, along with the occasional swirl. Please, can we go home now? This is an 8, Dad. Julia kneels down, straightening one picture and then another. That's an 8, and here she grabs more pictures. Put this one here, and I don't know, maybe that one. You have an E. George rubs his eyes. I hold my breath. Julia is running now. She picks up one picture, sets down another. It's like a puzzle, Dad. This is something. It's a word, maybe words, and picture of something, a giant picture. Jules, George says, this is crazy. But he's looking at the floor too, wandering from picture to picture, scratching his head. H, Julia says, E, O, hoe? A hoe is when you in the garden and you have to make the dirt nice and smooth and soft for planting. That's what you use a hoe for. Julia chews her lower lip. H-E-O. That looks a lot like an I. E-Y-E. H-E-O-I. George writes in the air with his finger. I-E-O-H. Not a letter, an actual I. And that's a foot, or maybe a tree, and a trunk. Dad, I think that's a trunk. Julia runs to my window. Ivan, she whispers, what did you make? I stare back and I cross my arms. This is taking much longer than I thought it would. Humans. Sometimes they make chimps look smart. Whew, I've got to stop there for today. Pretty exciting stuff, right? There is another word, though, I wanted to add to my book before. It was because, where is it at? Exhausted. Exhausted. I love that word. E-X. I love it for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think it's fun when words have letters that we don't use very often. So let me write it on mine, and then if you'd like to add it to yours, you can add it to yours too. E-X-H-U-H-A-U-S-T-E-D. Exhausted. Super tired. Exhausted. Right there at the bottom. It's almost time for me to switch pages. E-X-H-A-U-S-T-E-D. Exhausted. Super tired. Super tired. Okay. All right, guys. It's getting really good, isn't it? I'll talk to you soon.